G'day everyone. Well, it looks like they're still doing it, still treating everyone like kids and showing cartoons instead of actual facts. I just woke up in the middle of the night, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I thought to myself, oh yeah, have a look at YouTube, see what's going on, see if there's anything new, and I strike this cockamamie bullshit right here. So let me show you, just a moment. Right guys, so here we are. I've got it up on the screen as you can see right there. You can see where it says here, long-term side effects of COVID-19, okay? Sorry, long-term side effects of COVID vaccination are not a thing, okay? And this is what they're calling the whole truth. And this isn't from the Ministry of Health or Unite Against COVID like the other two channels. No, this is from Stuff, mainstream media organisations. So of course they've got to be trusted, don't they? So let's have a look. How many people actually like it so far? Well, we've got probably 3/4 of the people that have watched this have put thumbs down compared to 1/4 thumbs up. You know, 900 to 300. It's pretty simple math there, people. So doesn't look like many people give a flying fuck. And of course, just like a normal media organisation that care about your feedback, comments are turned off because they don't give a fuck. So let's have a look at yet again another cartoon that they're putting out to try and waylay people's fears, you know, those COVID hesitant vaccine people, you know. It's 4 o'clock, I'm getting my words around the wrong way. Anyway, so let's have a look, shall we?
If you haven't had a COVID-19 jab yet, you may be worried about side effects in the long term.
No, just worried about, and let's not call them side effects, shall we? Let's call them what everyone else calls them. Let's call them adverse reactions, okay? Now, worried about long term. First of all, how the fuck would they know about long-term side effects? Alright? Considering it's new. And yes, you can say, well, it's been, you know, been out there for a year and a half. They're bound to know now. Well, if they were bound to know, and could honestly say there's no long-term side effects, then they would know after the clinical trials have ended, correct? So why on earth are the clinical trials still going until 2023? Now you may think I'm bullshitting about that, so let's just keep watching.
We know that the Pfizer vaccine is still under clinical trials until 2023.
Need I say more? Clinical trials until 2023. So you're all having an experimental, untested fully, but they're trying to tell you about long-term side effects, even though they're admitting the clinical trials aren't finished until 2023. So I think they're jumping the gun there, but of course this is called the whole truth. And bear in mind that the word "the" means a portion. See, when you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, you're telling your portion of it, just as they are now. And I lay a bet that's not the whole truth we're getting from these pricks. How can we possibly be in a clip that's 2 minutes and 11 seconds long? Moving on.
So is it safer to wait until those trials are over?
Yes, it is. Because that's why they're a trial. Nothing's set in gold until they've done their trials. But never mind, I'm just one of the unsullied. Dare I say it, you know. I watched our little rock star fucking leader in her press conference today, and believe me, there's a vid coming out in reaction to that one. What a fucking joke this cow's getting up to be. Moving on.
Well, we already know that the vaccines are safe because billions of people around the world have had them.
Oh, so billions of people around the world have had them, and they're safe. Okay, so where's the evidence of that? How about you show us a list of the adverse reactions that people are having? Or are those, what shall we call them, side effects, just to get on stuff's good side, you know? Unreal. So because billions and millions of people have had the vaccine, they're safe. That just means billions and millions of people are scared shitless out of their brains and have been coerced in some way, shape or form by their government to get something that's not finished its clinical trials until 2 years jabbed in their arm. Moving on.
And we know from the long history of vaccines that if you're going to experience any side effects, it'll probably happen within a few days.
Yes, because long-term side effects like myocarditis, yeah, they're not bad, are they? You don't get like long-term damage from myocarditis. You don't like damage your heart irreparably, and that's why some people need heart transplants because of myocarditis. And we won't talk about the pericarditis or Eric Clapton's hands going numb, or people getting half their face fucking numbed out, or perhaps a mother on Super Saturday that went and got the jab and dropped dead in front of her 2 children at the vaccination centre. Fell into seizures and then shortly after died. But, oh, you know, it'll probably happen within a few days. What's this probably shit? Shouldn't be probably shit at stuff. If you're telling the whole truth and everything's safe, you should know. How about a percentage at least? You know, 1 in 1,000, 1 in 30,000. How many people are getting adverse reactions? Okay, and they're trying to. This is all a con because the Maoris haven't been vaccinated. They're in the low group, and you'll figure out why at the end of it.
6 to 8 weeks at the very most, though.
Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks at the very most is when you're going to get those side effects. Or should we say, adverse reactions. Well, yeah, okay, if it doesn't kill you right away like it did to that mother, and yes, you can say, oh, obviously with the millions you are going to get some side effects, but they're not looking at how they do them. Now, there's a gentleman on YouTube called Dr. John Campbell, and there's a video clip there in his playlist called I Got Fact Checked. It's a 20-minute long video. Skip the first few minutes because it's just him babbling on, but at the end he tells you why people, especially younger kids, 30 years or lower, younger males, are getting such a high number of pericarditis kicking in. And what it is because when you're getting the vaccine, you normally just see them put the plunger in, push down, and that's it. Okay, how do they know that they're in muscle tissue or that they haven't hit an artery or a vein? They don't. The correct way is when they put the needle in, before fucking pushing that fucking virus vaccine into your arm, they should actually draw back a little. That's what aspirate means, to draw back. So when you pull it back, if there's blood, they've hit an artery. It's the same as if you're getting a blood test done. They always put the needle in, they draw back a bit to make sure they've hit the vein, the blood pulls into the syringe. Same principle. When they put it in, they should draw back to make sure they haven't hit any blood vessel before injecting it into the muscle tissue. The vaccine's fine in the muscle tissue to be absorbed, and I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm for free choice. And if there are possible side effects, including death, it shouldn't be something that's forced upon you or your job depends on it. It should be a freedom of choice. But no, Heil fucking Jacinda over here has just gone and take total dictatorship and mandating it for everyone. Like frontline workers, nurses, doctors, school teachers. It's ridiculous. You know, sure, we've seen her get something injected into her arm. We never saw the vial, you know. So anyway, so they're trying to tell us those side effects are usually pretty mild. You know, headache, numbness, sore around the injection point, We won't go on to the body being numb, possible magnetic, fucking all the other stuff you've been seeing. But pericarditis and myocarditis are definitely happening. Between 1 in 30 and 1 in 3,000 people, you're going to get someone that hits a vein, and it is not to be put directly into the bloodstream. That is what's apparently, according to Dr. John Campbell, is what's causing a lot of this, the pericarditis, because it is not supposed to go directly into the bloodstream. And usually pretty mild doesn't mean it's safe. And yeah, he says, because of the long history of vaccines, there's been a long history of people getting adverse side effects and permanent vaccine damage. Okay, so let's look at that long history of vaccines.
Those side effects are usually pretty mild.
Yeah.
But how can we be absolutely sure that nothing's going to crop up in, say, a year or two?
We can't be, but they're going to try and lie and tell you otherwise, because this is all about getting you vaccinated. It's not about soothing your fucking your fears. If they were worried about soothing your fears, they wouldn't be pumping this shit daily on every fucking channel all day long. Get a vaccine. And if we've already reached 90% odd, you know, what was it, 16,000 people, just 16,000 more vaccines for everybody, 90% in Auckland, to have their first dose. All right? And in the press conference yesterday, she says, and then of course, to get double jabbed. So in Auckland, there's 3 DHBs. All 3 DHBs have to have 90% vaccination rate before we are allowed our freedoms back. So they've taken them. They haven't taken mine. I still do whatever the flying fuck I want to do, because I'll be damned if I'm just going to start telling the government, or the government gets to tell me when I get to wipe my ass in the mornings. I do what I want when I want. They represent us, but they don't fucking represent me. Why? I never voted for the fuckers, and I don't care if I'm in the minority on that one. Judging by the video clips and the likes and dislikes, these fuckers are in the minority for they say, let's go and get it. You know? Moving on, we'll just play this more.
Well, because there's actually no biological way for that to happen.
Really? There's no really? So if it causes damage to your heart, there's no biological way that could affect you for long times? Or now they're going to try and tell you that once it goes in your body, it goes out. Really? Then what's the point of having it? It's just trying to leave your antibodies, which you get a greater amount of through natural immunity anyway.
When you get a vaccine, it leaves your body within hours or days.
Does it? Prove it. Where's the facts?
You're just left with the antibodies your immune system has created.
Are we? There's awfully decent of them.
So if the vaccine is safe, why is it still under clinical trials?
Exactly. Why?
That's not because researchers are worried about potential side effects further down the track.
Isn't it? So why call it a trial? You're trying to say it's not safe and effective. From what I hear, Sue Gray won in the High Court a couple of days ago. But we're still waiting for that to be released. So, we'll keep watching.
These ongoing trials are totally normal. Scientists want to see how effective the vaccine is in the long run.
Oh, so that it's about efficacy. Well, why do they want to know about the efficacy in the long run? It's safe. It's apparently perfectly effective. So why do they need to test its efficacy for a long term? Because they don't know.
We're already getting some useful and reassuring data.
Are we? Show us the data then.
It's been a year and a half since people received their shots in the Pfizer clinical trial.
Trial again.
None of them have had side effects pop up later.
How the fuck would they know? Because if they're not getting reported, how the fuck would they know? Oh, we've got this reporting system, so if there's any adverse reactions, it gets filled out, according to Helen Patuzzi-Harris. What bullshit. Those numbers are being fudged. Because I've heard from just talking around people that there's a number of people with their in-laws and stuff whose health have gone downhill since having the jab. And no, you can't blame underlying health conditions for it, because they weren't that bad before they had the jab, were they? Oh, God.
What we do know is
laugh.
that COVID itself often has long-term effects.
Does it?
A study found 1 in 3 patients suffered from long COVID.
Oh, it's a new thing. Long COVID. Oh, I bet you he's fucking, he'll impress the girls at a party. Big long COVID. Ooh. Yeah, whoops, we skipped that bit. Alright, we'll go back to where long COVID was.
Suffered from long COVID. The evidence tells us the vaccines are safe.
What evidence tells us that? You know, the Ministry of Truth, your one source of truth, and yet they're now using another source that apparently tells you the whole truth. They are trying this con so fucking hard. And my argument is they're trying to say that the unvaccinated are going to make everyone else sick. How is that possible? You're all being vaccinated. What are you going to catch? I know the vaccine doesn't stop you from getting COVID. Clearly, because when there was like 2,000 cases in New Zealand, 4% of them were fully vaccinated. They might not have been fully immunised, we don't know, because even though she likes to make that distinction between fully immunised and fully vaccinated, which is like 2 weeks after your second jab, they always just say, oh no, they're fully vaccinated. So out of the 2,000, 4%, 80 people. So does that sound like good odds to you? Out of 2,000, 80 people still caught it, even after being fully vaccinated. So what's the point of having it then, if you still catch it? What, it doesn't make you feel as bad? Well, I bet you the people that have COVID that are asymptomatic, that don't feel like shit anyway, still get off better, don't they? And they're not injecting some fucking crap that you don't know is in that vial into your arm, because it's still in long-term clinical trials. How can they possibly say it's safe? I mean, use your fucking common sense, people.
Delta is here now, and the time...
No, it's Delta Plus is out there now, don't forget about that one.
Time to wait is over.
The time to wait is over, people. Get out there and get your jab, because the incentives will start dropping off, and already they're starting the punishments. Such as a lady that cares for her own special needs kid, teaches them at home, looks after them at home. She's just had her fucking support from the Ministry of Health cut because she's not getting the jab. You know, I rung the Ministry of Education because old Jacinda goes and says, you know, home-based educators also have to get the vaccine. Well, I homeschool my kids. Does that make me a home-based educator? No. According to the Ministry of Education, Jacinda should have been more clear, because that's to do with the ECE people, the people that run a childcare service at home. They have to get jabbed or they can't run their business from home. Do you see the point? If you don't get the jab, you don't get to work and earn money anymore. They're putting that fear of losing your fucking income, make you more dependent on the state, because more control, more dependency. Moving on.
The Whole Truth About the COVID Vaccine is a series from Stuff, made in partnership with Māori Television and the Pacific Media Network.
Is that right? Wow, so they're all getting subsidised, and who's paying them? Let's see.
We received funding from the Google News Initiative.
Oh, so Google's behind it. Well, of course, they've got to be completely impartial, don't they? Not. So yeah, what a fucking joke. Not even good. It's just, it's sickening. Anyway guys, see you later.